All right, so I'm super excited for today's show. You come here to get the best, and today that's what we have. We have Sam Bakhtiar on the show, and Sam's just got an incredible story. He specializes in helping people get to the top 1% in any and every aspect of their life, from health and wellness to fitness to really just living your best life. And he's just got this tremendous background. He's a doctor, a CEO, the author, a world-class bodybuilder with over 23 titles over his 18-year career. And he's also now a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur running a fitness franchising business, the Camp Transformation Center, with over 110 locations and 2 supplement and nutrition companies. Just got so much going on. We're going to really dive in. We're going to talk about how we can help small businesses, how we can help people who are just not finding their best selves get to the top. So stay tuned. Got so much you're going to dive into here. Make sure you take some notes. And again, thank you for listening. Hello again, and welcome back to the Jason and Peely Project. As you just said offline here, we got Sam on the show today. Sam Bakhtiar, he's got an incredible story. So Sam, welcome to the show. How are you?
Jason, it's an honor and privilege to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, Sam's out there in California, got up early, he got his workout in, and this is a lot about what Sam's life is. He's really getting out there, taking action, being a top 1%er, which is his podcast there. And Sam, there's a lot of small businesses out there, and specifically gyms right now that are out there, and they're waiting for some direction, right? So waiting for some guidance. And I have friends, and one of the most discouraging parts is that when they do get back open for business, they just don't really have guidance of what that's going to look like here. And you've built yourself in a large fitness business. You how a professional bodybuilder have, went through and created 23 titles, I believe, right? So over 18 years. How are you looking at the future of the fitness space? What is your mindset been over these last month and a half as you've been thinking about the fitness space and how you're adapting it to your business?
Nobody can really sit down right now and predict the future. All we can do is look at the trends, right? And kind of figure out what we think the future is going to be. See, you can't change the past. You can't predict the future. All you can do from the past is learn. And all you can do to change the future is what you do today. So when I'm looking at what's going on and with the COVID-19 and everything else like that, I know one thing I learned in history. History repeats itself. But also many people forget what has happened very quickly. Okay, like for example, we know that recession happens every so often, but we learn from it. But then we forget about it. We go back to our old habits. So I don't think the gyms are going anywhere. There's going to be plenty of gyms and all that kind of stuff. Are they going to make modifications to some of the things that we need to do? The way they're cleaning, the way they're letting people in, and using the capacity. Absolutely, there's got to be modifications. We have to evolve as we go. Business evolve, life evolves. We evolve. But also we've seen a influx of people training online. People doing more coaching and mentoring. And if you know anything about getting results, everybody knows pretty much what to do, especially when it comes to losing weight, for example. You want to lose weight, you eat better quality food, you're taking less calories than you burn. It's called law of thermodynamics, and you lose weight. The reason people don't do that is because they lack accountability. They lack the community. And if we can, give people the accountability and the community online, then I think we have something there. And we can possibly be able to train some people online as long as they have the discipline enough to do it. So that's the only thing that's missing online.
I absolutely agree. And what is it about ourselves that so many of us can't find accountability within ourselves, and that we have to look upon others to find that? What holds us back?
Well, just a lot of us, we make promises to ourselves and we don't follow through. And it's because we told ourselves it's okay to not follow through on your promises. The more you make a promise to yourself and the more you fail to follow through, the more regular that behavior becomes. These days, I mean, I live in Southern California, man. There's no more flakier people than here in the world where, when somebody tells me, hey, we're going to meet at, I don't know, November 20th. I don't need a reminder. It's on my calendar. It's in stone. You know what I mean? But these days, like, when I tell somebody, I'll meet you tomorrow at 8 a.m., they have to confirm 4 or 5 times and they can't believe I'm still keeping the appointment. You know what I mean? And, in this day and age, man, it's crazy. So a lot of times, one of the best books I've read about that is What to Say to Yourself When You Talk to Yourself. And the book is profound. It's how you build self-esteem and self-worth. And if you don't make anything a priority and you make it stuff non-negotiable, as some of my colleagues will say, don't negotiate with your inner bitch. You'll be okay. Because look, not one day did I get up in the morning, Jason, and I said, you know what? Oh man, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't wait to go run for 10 miles, or I can't wait to go do some heavy squats, or I can't wait to pull some heavy deadlifts. Not one day did I want to get out of that nice warm bed and cuddling and all that to get up. And back when I lived in the East Coast in the snow, rain, get in a car, drive 20 miles to get into the gym. It wasn't always like this when, you have the beach and, you have the beach right there. And it wasn't always like this. So you got to make things non-negotiable. When you make a promise to yourself, it's so important for you to keep it. I don't care who's watching. The most important person that you want to impress is yourself.
Wait, so with this long bodybuilding career, and it takes a full another level of commitment, what is the biggest lesson that you learned throughout your bodybuilding career?
I learned throughout my bodybuilding career, I learned that your feelings have nothing to do with your goals, and so, for example, most of the time, it took me 12 to 16 weeks to get show ready. So I would, carve out 12 to 16 weeks out, and I'll have a game plan of my training, my nutrition, my sleep, everything, And there was some days that I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think I have a cough. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sore. You want to come up with all kinds of excuses not to make the gym. But you know what? I just showed up. I didn't listen to that, what I call inner bitch, and I just showed up. Some days I went to the gym and I was in a good mood. I could lift the whole world. And some days I went to the gym, I was trained, I was drained, I was sick, I was tired. I didn't want to be there, but I just went through it.
Yeah.
But at the end, I knew that if I put that effort of time every single day, win one day at a time, it will compound in the next 12 weeks to my best package on stage.
And I think that's exactly the point, right? It compounds because you start training your mind to say, okay, good day or bad day, this is just what I do. This is my life. This is my routine. I commit. I tell myself I'm going to commit, and I start to follow through. And funny enough, it goes as we grow, we get more comfortable, and we give ourselves more reasons why it's okay we don't do this today, but we don't think about the ramifications. So if I eat a piece of pizza today, that's not a big deal. And then tomorrow, if I have a cookie, not a big deal. But you don't think about how that's compounding over time, and you're giving yourselves these excuses why you're not getting better. And right now during, quarantine, we see people kind of going on both sides, right? The group that's kind of just hanging out, letting it go, and just kind of waiting for things to find back the normal. And then you have another group who's really out there putting in the work. Talk to us about, if there is this group here that's listening that really is sitting on the sidelines waiting for it to go. Talk to us about the one percenter, the common theme that you've heard talking to so many people on your podcast. What's been the through lesson of people who are really at that top echelon of overachievers?
1% are obsessed about progress. They're not obsessed about money. They're obsessed about progress. They want to keep moving forward. They get up, they have a plan, they're enthusiastic, they're passionate, and they just want to move things forward, whether it's finances, whether it's, physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's relational. They want to get better every single day of, they want to move forward. They're not willing to be stagnant. One percenters is somebody who doesn't care about what the masses are doing, doesn't care about what everyone that's popular is doing. They have their own plan, and then they want to execute the plan no matter who says what, or if they're the unpopular choice. 1% is somebody who's willing to go against the grain. You know, the great Warren Buffett said that if you want to be successful, look at what everybody's doing, and go the opposite direction. And that's truly a definition of 1%. You know, when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know who I ran into this morning? And for the second time, I ran into him on Sunday, and I ran into him this morning. I ran into Mike Tyson running on my same thing. Go check out my Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, I took a picture with him, and because he was running 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm running, he's running. You know, I'm looking at him like, that guy looks familiar. He's coming my direction. I'm like, I know that guy. And he had big old legs, a big old stocky guy. I'm like, Mike? He's like, yo. I'm like, you getting ready for a fight? He goes, I'm trying. He goes, let me take a quick picture. We'll take a picture. And that's the kind of people you're going to see. You're not going to see the 99 percenters at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to see people because they're still in bed dreaming about Pop-Tarts.
It's true. And one of the biggest things that's changed my life is I get up at 4:13 a.m. And the days I don't want to, I just say the words, no negotiations. I actually read it through Jocko Willing. And you just say those 2 words, you just get yourself out of bed. And the second you're out, you're out. You're not going back, right? And that's the first step. Just get out and just get going is that one step. And I run a lot, and just even like setting my clothes out. Okay, so now, or even at times where if I'm sore at nighttime, if I sleep in my clothes, I know if I wake up and I get out of bed, I'm going to feel real foolish if I'm up in my running stuff, and now I'm going to change because I don't want to. So it's almost like I've set myself up to not fail by just giving myself these little tricks, the little hacks that keep me going here. What would have been some of the biggest lessons that you are now using as an entrepreneur, that you've now transitioned from your bodybuilding career, from your career as a doctor, now moving into entrepreneurship?
You know, the reason I became a doctor is because my mom, that was her definition of success. You know, my mom, you know, always says, Sam, if you want to be something great in life, you have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. You know, my mom is old school. You know, education is everything. You know, you go, get a career in whatever field that you study. You know, but I soon learned that that's not what I wanted to do. I got my diploma to please my mom. You know, she brought me to this country by herself, and she's done wonderful things for me. And with that being said, you know, I brought her on, and you know, I got my degree, but I handed my degree to her and said, now I want to open up my gyms. And that's how I opened up my gyms. I never, to me, for my mom and to a lot of people in this world, success is, you know, getting up in the morning, putting on a suit and a tie, you know, or a doctor's jacket, you know, and going to work, you know, working until 5, 6, 7 o'clock, coming home, you know, and going out doing that Monday through Friday, and then weekends be with your family. To me, that's not success. That's not my definition of success. You know, I want to be able to wear what I want. I don't want to impress anybody. I don't want to, you know, I want to just be me. I want to have the time to work on the things that I want to do. You know, we all come to America, you know, to be free, for freedom. But are we really free if you're stuck at a job that you don't like to do, and you're working there, you know, 40, 50 hours a week, you're driving there an hour there, an hour back? Is that really freedom? I don't think so. That's like a jail sentence to me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. And what is it that has created this society where our main goal is to show something to others instead of really just finding the fulfillment in ourselves?
You know, it's just keeping up with the Joneses, I guess. You know, I mean, we all been there. I've been in there. You know what? You know, when I was broke, and I grew up broke. You know, yeah, I mentioned I was a single mom. We came to America with $500 on luggage. You know, you name it. Being a big tit. You know, going to low income housing, food stamps. We all got it. You know, so to me, success was showing people what I got, showing people. You know, so when I started making money, I was like one of those rappers, you know, that, is flaunting money, flaunting his cars, and, you know, like kind of stuff. And as I got older, you know, I'm like, that's not what makes me happy. You know, the cars and all that, it's not making me happy. The thing that makes me happy is peace of mind and knowing that I'm getting better every single day. That's truly my happiness. And also knowing that I'm contributing to other people, knowing that I'm contributing to the world. But here's the thing. It's hard to think about contribution and fulfillment if your basic necessities aren't met.
Sure.
So you have to at least be able to make enough money so that your family is not in jeopardy. Your kid's going to be able to eat. You're not going to get evicted from your house. But once your basic necessities are met, which means that you have a roof over your head, you don't have to worry about where your next meals is come from. You have some savings. After that, all of that is a plus. It's not a must.
Yeah. And when you're having a day that's not ideal, how is there anything you do to say, okay, enough of this, I'm turning my day around? Is there any triggers that you use in your day to really get yourself back on track?
It's very simple. It's a very simple exercise. It's just a list of what you're grateful for. You know what I mean? It's very, very simple, because look, when you are having a bad day, most likely it's because you're living in the future, right? Because you're living in the future, right? So if you live in the future, you have anxiety. If you live in the past, you have depression. So all you have right now is right now where you are right now, and be grateful. Because when you're grateful, fear cannot coexist, right? You can't be grateful about things and be fearful at the same time. They just don't care. So when fear is here, bring gratefulness out, and it kicks it right out.
It's so true, right? So, because if you are living in the past, you're depressed about where you are now. And if you're looking at that future, it's the anxiety of what it is that takes to get there, right? How do you take the first step into continuing to achieve the goals you want? What is it? Now, you talk a lot about planning. Is there specific things you look at in your routine within your planning stages that you set first and foremost to make sure that you're going to accomplish your goals?
It's a very great question. First, before you have any goals, you have to be crystal clear on what you want out of your life and how you want to spend your time, right? So first, you have to become crystal clear of how you want to spend your time every awakening hour of the day. So, for example, when I sat down with myself at a certain point in my life, I think it was like 6-7 years ago. And I said, Sam, what do you want your life to be about? What do you want to dedicate your life to? And I really sat down. I was in a very low point of my life. I said, okay, what do you want? Now I was 40 years old. I'm like, Sam, you are starting from scratch. What do you want to dedicate your time, the second half? You know what I mean? And I told myself, all right, but my number one goal in life is to spend as much time with the family as possible. Bar none. Number two, I got to provide for them. So I can't be with them and not be able to provide for them, or I can't provide for them and not be with them. I got to have both. I have to have both. But if I have to choose one, being with them was number one, providing for them was number two, and staying healthy so I can do one and two was the third one. So literally, when you look at my schedule every single day, I'm either working, spending time with the family, or in the gym.
Yeah. And you make it that simple and concrete, and it provides all the answers, right? I think sometimes we complicate things so much by having these to-do lists that are just endless, right? But they're not really solving the solution of what you want, right? They're just stuff that you're doing.
Let me tell you a little secret. To-do lists are great. But you know what's even better? A not to-do list. Okay? That's even greater than to-do list. The things that we got to stop doing. Stop spending so much time on social media. Stop spending so much time, wasting so much time with people who are not going to get us anywhere. Stop spending so much time on television and video games. Stop smoking. I don't know what it is, but things that we should give up. Because once you give up all the other extra crap and baggage, and you really focus on what I call, Pareto principle calls it the 80-20 principle. I'll call it the Bakhtiar principle. I'll call it 95-5. Concentrate on that 5% that move 95%. That's all you have to do. The rest, it's kind of minutia.
is the step of doing that is which holds most people back, the fear of failure or the fear of success? Do you find that that's the step that keeps people from doing that, or they just don't want it that bad yet?
I think it can be all of those. There are people who really want it bad. They really want it bad, but sometimes they self-sabotage because they fear success.
Yeah.
They fear success. I know, my buddy Ed says that everybody has a success thermostat. Like for example, you want to go up to 100 degrees, but you're set at 70. So as soon as you pass 70, you kind of like you self-sabotage and bring yourself back to 70, right? So you have to reset that thermostat. So some people are definitely afraid of success, and then a lot of people are just, they want to get there, but just can't get up out of the couch. They just can't make themselves go before they start something or go after something. They have all the excuses in the world why it wouldn't work and why it would not fit. It would fail is because they fear failing.
Yeah.
And that I would say is the number one. At least the guy who's fear of success, at least he achieves. He goes there halfway. He does something, but then he self-sabotages. The guy who doesn't get out of the couch doesn't do anything, right? And then you have the people who are just talk. They're just talk. And I think people who just talk and just don't make any action, I think those are the ones that really are failure.
Yeah, it's true. And if you think about success in that point, sometimes the goals, if we're not committed to the goal, we create something that sounds good, right? But there, so I want to make $1 million. Okay, what does that even mean, right? So what is that? Why? Like, what is that to you? And so we set this big goal, but because there's not the traction, it doesn't mean enough to you, and your body is still at that 70 degrees, not at the 100 degrees, which maybe the million is. So you can't get to that level because you're stuck in that comfortable area, and the $1 million really doesn't mean much, minus it just sounds good potentially to you or your friends.
For a goal to really work, you have to have a meaning and emotion behind it. Okay, we are emotional creatures. We buy things and do things. And we buy and do things based on emotion, and we try to justify with logic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you want a goal to work, you got to put some emotion behind it. Maybe I want $1 million because I never want my mom to be ever, be dependent on any abusive man that she ever been with, for example. Right? I want to make $1 million because I want to make sure, my family is taken care of and they have the things that I never had. You can't just say, I want $1 million, man. All right, well, because you want a Ferrari or you want to, I don't know, I don't know what you can buy for $1 million anymore.
Sure. And so looking forward, what's the next step for you? What's your next focus in your years to come?
My next focus at this day and age is my number one goal is just to be with the family, be with my children, enjoy every second, every minute, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone, man. I mean, it really is not, man. This year, it so much things has happened that, as it hit home, very close to home. Mm-hmm. With the COVID-19, with sudden passing of Kobe Bryant, and so many other things that you're like, man, tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So if I could just enjoy my children and be around them every single day and just look at them in the eye and coach them and mentor them, to me, that's my biggest joy and fulfillment. And after that, I'm coaching and mentoring my children. I want to be able to coach and mentor others and help others achieve success. I thought I would never say this, but back in the day when Tony Robbins said success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that concept because I was broke. I couldn't think about fulfillment when I was getting eviction notices on the house. I couldn't think about, fulfillment when my bills weren't paid. But like I said, once I'm actually, in a comfortable place, and again, if you have, I'm not saying guys don't go out there and achieve. I want you to achieve, but at a certain point, you want to say, okay, what is my point where I can now refocus what my priorities are? If your basic necessities aren't met, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, right now you should go all in to get a life that you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. to get some passive income so you can be able to, if the world freezes like it is right now, you're okay, right? But after that, then any more money after that is great, but not at the expense of you not seeing your children, not at the expense of you regretting how you spend your time. So that's, at this point in my life, I want to spend as much time with my children, and I want to, make a difference in this world.
Yeah. Well, Sam, this has been an awesome interview. Really powerful. I've really enjoyed really chatting with you and just learning more about what you're doing and just how you look in the world. Right. And that's something that we can all take away, is that finding fulfillment is really just the ultimate goal. Right. And to have everything but not be fulfilled, that sounds not ideal. But if you haven't tasted success, you don't understand it, because you think the success is the key, and so many times it leaves you empty if you haven't found that fulfillment. So Sam, truly just enjoyed this. For listeners, what's the best way to find out more about you, your show, the best way to connect?
You can look me up on the internet at Sam Bakhtiar, SAMBAKHTIAR, or you can text me at 909-200-4015, 909-200-4015.
That's awesome. Well, Sam, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much for your time.